Welcome to the Mark Divine Show. I'm your host, Mark Divine. Super stoked to have you here with us today. On this show, I want you to do more than just listen. I want you to spark action, inspire transformation. Each episode is designed to help you grow as a leader, break through personal barriers, and make a lasting impact. Together, we'll explore topics such as mental toughness, emotional resilience, purpose finding, evolving consciousness, and others, all while embracing the challenges of this fast-changing world. All of my guests are exceptional individuals who offer wisdom from diverse fields, whether science, philosophy, or human performance. Join me as we dare to think bigger, live bolder, and unlock the uncommon within us all. Today, I've got a special guest who embodies grit, determination, and entrepreneurial spirit, Tommy Mello. Tommy is the founder and CEO of a home service business on track to cross the $220 million revenue mark. It's got over 700 employees spread across 20 states. His journey from bussing tables and flipping cars to building a multi-million-dollar empire is nothing short of inspiring. Tommy's been featured in top pubs like Forbes and Entrepreneur and Inc., and he hosts one of the top business podcasts where he shares valuable insights with world-class experts. Whether you're building a business or striving for greater success, Tommy's story and wisdom will motivate you to take the next step. Let's dive in. Tommy, so great to have you here on the Mark Divine Show. Tommy, it's great to see you, man.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for making the trek over from Phoenix, you said, huh?
Yeah, easy trip, 45-minute flight. Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'm trying to do all live in person now.
So much better to do live.
100%.
You get the social media, everything else. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Everyone's chasing the the interviews as well. So it's a little bit more I don't know, just a little bit more authentic.
Yeah.
Live.
Good to know somebody too. I love podcasting, man. I think I'm up to like almost 400.
Yeah, that's about where we're at.
Yeah.
We're on like year number 9, I think.
You got me beat. I started in 2017.
Did you?
Yeah.
So tell me, where are you from? Give me a little background of your...
Yeah, so I'm from Sterling Heights, Michigan. Moved out to Phoenix when I was 16. But what I learned really young is if you want to win, you've got to work hard for stuff.
Right.
So not afraid to work hard. And what do you do in Michigan when you're not even 12 years old? You mow lawns and you shovel snow.
Right.
So that's how I made money when I was a kid. And then when I was 12, 1 year before you're legally able to work, I got a job washing dishes at Rookie's Clubhouse. And that paid $4.05 per hour. But when you're 12, that's a lot of money.
Oh, no kidding.
And then I got into the garage industry in my early 20s. I always say an overnight success of 2 decades. And things are good, man. I'm very, very excited. Life is great. Seems like it's like a fairy tale. Everything's going really, really good right now. I don't want to jinx it. I don't believe in jinxing it, but I'm very happy. Basically, the way I look at business now is built to sell.
Right.
Build everything to sell.
And why do you do that?
Well, the multiples on EBIDTA right now in home service are setting records. I mean, 18 to 20x.
No shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And why is that?
I think it's because of COVID. I think in COVID we were deemed essential when all the movie theaters and bowling alleys and nail salons and hotels and restaurants closed down. They told us we're essential and we're allowed to keep doing our job.
Yeah.
So
home service, what is that? What's kind of like the blanket? What's included?
So there's home service and then there's home improvement. Home service is anything to do with servicing your home. I mean, concrete, garage door, even organization, bins, front doors. Front doors, windows, roofing could be also home improvement.
Right.
Bath remodels, kitchen remodels is home improvement. HVAC, plumbing, electrical, gutters, you name it, is home service. And it's a great industry, man. I feel like these are the golden years because what is the number? 10,000 baby boomers a day are retiring.
Right.
12% of them own a business. So it's like no one really wants to take over their dad's home service company. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of hard work, blue collar, but there's a lot of money in it. Mm-hmm. Lots of money. The market cap of HVAC, plumbing, electrical is $200 billion. Mm. So there's money pouring into home service right now.
Right. Is that an opportunity for roll-up? Is that how you build your business, by acquiring other units?
So there's, 3 things. Acquisitions, greenfield growth and just regular organic growth. I like acquisitions. I'm going to do something in the HVAC world. Probably just try to get to 20 million. Kind of a lot of things came together. Good timing. But I like organic growth better. I mean, what we do with A1 is we're really good at growing without buying companies as well. Probably about 15. But we've grown more through greenfield and organic growth, which is just really good marketing, really good hiring. That's capacity planning. You got to hire enough people to run the calls. We've got a training program. We train about 40 new guys a month right now.
Okay. Let's go back to the beginning. I mean, starting a business is a lot harder than buying one oftentimes.
Yeah.
And so what were some of the biggest challenges you faced when you actually you were in your 20s, like early 20s, when you started things off?
Hardest thing for sure is hiring your first person and realizing they're not going to work as hard as you.
Right.
What took me 10 years to figure out was manual standard operating procedures and checklists. And to recruit people that are better than me. You know, maybe I had a issue with, now I try to hire my C-suite that I can't even keep up with.
Right.
Like I can't even stay in the same room with them. They're like much smarter.
On that vein, let's talk about the different stages of your growth as a business leader.
Yep.
When you had to replace yourself in order to basically focus on what you needed to focus on, right? Reinvent yourself. You can probably think of 3 or 4 distinct stages where you had to reinvent yourself in order to take it to the next level.
And that's what I'm in the process now of reinventing myself again.
Right.
I was working with a consultant recently, and he said, if you wanted, pretend you're going to 10X what you're going to make next year, what would need to be true? And I said, well, I'd have to become the best recruiter that ever lived. Because it's really about recruiting, aligning interests, what's in it for them, paying properly, performance, wages, equity incentive programs. But, one of the things I realized is the harder I work on me, the better it is. So I invest in a lot of coaching. I invest in a lot of consultants. I invest in a lot of books. I go to a lot of seminars. I'm speaking at a lot of them, but I get to meet great people. So the more I invest in myself, the faster I grow.
So when you started, were you doing the service work or were you you were doing
I spent 2012 to 2014, I had an emergency truck that no one could run on a night, or I'd pick up, like if we were having a bad week, I'd go run a couple calls because unfortunately back then I was the top sales guy. Now I'm not, and I haven't been in the field for over 10 years now. But that's, I think it's probably the more industries I get into, the less I want to learn about the mechanics of it, how to do the work. Because I think when you could do the work, sometimes you just go do it because it's easier to fall back on that you know how to do it. But when you don't know how to do it, you've got to be good at hiring people and running a real business. It's so easy. Like I used to jump on the phones. I'd book every single call. Half the battle was just answering the phone for most companies. 42% is the average booking rate in home service, which is failing.
That's bad?
42%? We book at 89%.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, someone's calling you with a broken garage door to get a new one. Yeah. It's not hard to book that.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, as far as leadership goes, I think 2017, I got a really good consultant that taught me just to get organized and make sure I'm training the same way every single time. Starting to manifest things, thinking about reverse engineering how to get to things. Instead of just a fart in the wind wish, I really taken the time to say, okay, if I want to do this much revenue, and this is my booking rate, this is how many calls I need. Here's my conversion rate. Here's my average ticket. This is my cost per lead. Here's how to grow. I'm a big fan of marketing, and I'm a big fan of marketing for people too. That's recruiting. And I think a lot of people don't understand marketing is recruiting as well. Right. And now I pride myself on being, as far as my C-suite goes, I'm definitely can't keep up with them.
Yeah.
They're very smart people.
You mentioned recruiting and hiring a couple times. What is, what's the secret to being an exceptional recruiter and to hiring really well?
So I like to try it before I buy it, really get to know somebody. I think finding out who their significant other is, getting to know them as well, because they're the ones going to be, Dave Ramsey talks about if they're not happy at home, how they're going to come into work happy. So finding out how that relationship works. And I think just having a huge funnel. We pay very well, But there's this statistic out, anything over $80,000 or, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you're meeting all of your needs, the money is not quite as important. Right. And so a lot of recognition. Well, we do a lot with our people. But the secret is not hiring when you need people. Hire when you don't need people and make sure you get the best of the best.
Say more about that. Why?
Well, I think when you need people and you're desperate, I used to say, if you could fog a mirror, I'll hire you. During COVID, that was true. We just had so much business. Right. But yeah, I think you'll always be recruiting. People say always be closing, that old movie. Mm-hmm. Always be recruiting. And I look for eye contact. I look for tonality. I look for the belief in yourself. Mm-hmm. Do you love yourself? Do you take care of yourself? Mm-hmm. Those are all important aspects. The way you shake my hand is important. The way you tell a story, the way you smile. Mm-hmm. These things, I had to say it, but I could tell very, very quickly if a person, I'll walk by their car, see if they take care of their car, see if there's wrappers inside, if it's all McDonald's. There's a lot of little things. Do they smoke, chain smoke? Are they always on their phone scrolling? There's a lot of things I look for, but it's pretty easy to identify. And the biggest thing is, what are you passionate about? Were you ever competitive? Mm-hmm. Even if it was soccer, karate, chess, it could have been playing the trumpet. I don't care, but did you practice every day to become better? Right. And if they did, they'll typically be good. Yeah. If they did the same thing every day to become better at it. When I used to play football, we used to do 2-a-days. We'd practice twice, 5 days a week to play one game. Right. But typically now in home service, they say, once you learn it, you never practice again. We practice all the time. We do role play. We practice just the tonality we're going to talk to. Yeah. If it's a grandma versus a younger woman that just got married, we practice these different scenarios all the time.
Yeah, that's cool. What's the process like for hiring? How many times do you interview? What does that look like? I'm curious. I've been a shitty hirer in the past. Yeah, something I need work on.
For my C-suite, by time people, the VPs come to me, I'm interviewing them to see if they'll tolerate my leadership style, which means I'm an entrepreneur. I might call you Saturday night. I might call you at 5 a.m. on Friday. I typically tell them I got a lot of ideas. We got a little bit of ADHD. Mm-hmm. So this is me. You got to deal with me. But for technicians, they do a ride along for a day. And we do a lot. They've got 3 interviews before the hiring manager. We do background checks, drug tests, DMV records because they're driving our vehicle. We let them know that up front. And then we go over, they fly to Phoenix. So they start on their market for 4 weeks. Then they fly to Phoenix for 4 weeks. We got apartments we put them in.
Yeah. And do you hire them conditionally or straight out?
No, they come on. What I'd like to do is have a little bit more of a trial period, but that first month is really their trial. Yeah. I'm like, they better not make it to Phoenix. And the first thing I say is, would you buy from this person? Would you allow your grandma or your wife to be alone with this person in your home? Right. It's important. We're in their home. Yeah. Yeah. The hiring's everything. Think about if you could stack the deck with all 10 out of 10, the best people, you're going to win no matter what. They get great reviews. They're easy to talk to. They'll come in on the weekend if you need them to. Our best technicians and installers are just unicorns, unfortunately. But my goal is to continue to find them. They're out there. We need to show them it's a better opportunity to work for us. Because we'll teach you out. We hire for personality, and we can train anybody. 90% of the people we hire have never done garage doors. We talk a lot about sales. We train on technical, operational, and sales. And people are really uncomfortable with that word sales. And I'm like, don't let that hold you up. We just got to give people that opportunity to buy stuff. And if I have a plumber come to my house, tell me everything. Tell me what's going to make the water pressure higher. Tell me what else do I have available to buy? I don't think it's a bad thing.
So your technicians are selling as well?
Yes.
That's genius, yeah. Hey, folks, I've been using Momentus supplements for over a year now. And honestly, it's transformed how I approach my health. What drew me to Momentus wasn't flashy marketing. It was a relentless commitment to doing things differently in an industry full of shortcuts. Every day I take what they call the Momentus 3. That's protein, creatine, and omega-3. Research shows that most of us don't get adequate amounts of those critical nutrients from your diet alone.
Together, they form the foundation of everything your body and brain needs to perform at its peak. What sets Momentus apart is what they call the Momentus Standard. While other brands cut corners with fillers and artificial junk, Momentus only uses the highest quality and most bioavailable ingredients. Their creatine uses CreaPure, the purest form available, and the protein is grass-fed whey isolate. No gums, no fillers, no artificial flavors or sweeteners, ever. This daily routine now supports every cellular function of mine, from muscle recovery and growth to more focus and energy. And it's why all 32 NFL teams and over 200 pro sports teams trust Momentus. They're not just putting products first, they're putting you first. So if you're ready to switch to a company that's doing it right, head over to livemomentus.com, LIVEMOMENTOUS.com. Use the code DIVINE, DIVINE, for 35% off your first subscription. Again, use the code DIVINE at livemomentus.com. Thank you, Momentus, for sponsoring the Mark Divine Show.
So what about back to leadership? Like what specifically, I'm assuming you're a CEO. You don't have a hired CEO.
No.
So what do you do? What are the most important things for you to do on a day-to-day basis?
So I just focus, like there's three things I know. I need more leads. I need more great people. And I need my team to know that I love them.
That's cool.
So that they need to feel like I'm watching and they're doing great. Mm-hmm. I need to give them constant feedback. There needs to be a feedback loop. One of the things I don't do, and I'm getting better at this, is not jumping down to anybody but my direct reports. My job is to be the gas. I'm always putting my foot on the gas. Like, they'll give me budgets that I just 15% increase. And I'm like, no, we need to grow 40% next year. So figure out a way to get there. But I think I always start something saying, can I do this or can I delegate it? Do I have to do this? So is it me or could it be delegated? Yeah. And that's how I start almost every single task I'm confronted with.
Right. Yeah. So I'm reading this book, 10X is easier than 2X.
Yeah, I know. I know them. Right? Ben Hardy and
Ben,
Dan Sullivan.
So the whole book. 80-20 Pareto analysis.
Yep.
Do you actively do that every year and like try to carve out the things that just don't belong?
So there's a good book. I work with a guy named Dan Martell. Yeah. And when I started working with him, he's like, let's just reverse engineer what you make per hour. And it was a big number. And he says, okay, you're thinking of dollars instead of percentages. You need to hire a driver. And I said, why?
You mean a driver to drive you around?
Yeah, drive me around.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, you just got 12 hours back a week. And he goes, you need to hire a chef. He goes, I just found you 4 more hours. And now you'll be eating healthy. And I had a lot figured out at work. I just didn't have my personal life figured out I felt like it was like not humble. That's very not humble to have a driver. And what are people going to think of me? And then I said, it's selfish not to have that because of how much more I'm getting done. Mm-hmm. So if I could delegate it, I mean, Ashley's traveling with me. She's amazing. She gets a lot done. We've got Allison takes care of my whole calendar and schedule and emails. But yeah, 10X is better than 2X. Great book. And then another book they wrote is Who Not How.
Who Not How, yeah.
That's a really good book. It's understanding when you get the right people on the bus, everything changes.
Right.
And that's something that took me a long time to. You don't know what good is till you hire a lot of people. You don't know what good even looks like. And then the best thing I ever did was form an equity incentive program, EIP. Mm-hmm. And during the first transaction of A1, which was at the end of 2022, 24 millionaires came out of that deal.
Get out of here.
No, it was a big deal.
So describe how that works, if you would.
Okay, so let's just say you got a business. I'm going to make it really simple. It's worth $10 million. Let's just say it's $2 million of EBITDA. You're getting a 5X on that. Mm-hmm. So it's worth $10 million. That's like your line in the sand. That money's yours, the $10 million. Now you hire a CFO. You say, I'm going to give you 5% EIP. You get the business sells for $100 million. So there's $90 million left over. They get 5% of that. So that'd be $4.5 million. So I gave out 20%. I put a floor of $50 million on it, which that was very generous of me because the business was worth over probably, it's not worth anything till it sells.
Everything above 50.
Yeah. So the 50 just came, that was mine. And then everybody got their little piece. Some of them got bigger pieces than others, but the smartest thing I ever did, I went from, in 2019, we went from 12.5 million of profit to 28 million in 19 months.
Mm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Impressive. So with the EAP, I'm wrapping my head around this. So you give out 20%. Like, how do you carve out room for future employees, and how do you prevent someone from bailing when they're fully vested? And how long do you vest that?
So usually you vest over 5 years.
Yeah.
It could be time, plus it could be KPI driven.
Right.
So benchmarks and goals. If they're not there during a transaction, so this doesn't give them any rights, voting rights, profit share, nothing like that. They don't get anything until a transaction of over 50%. So a change of control. And here's the deal. Equity doesn't work unless you got a plan of selling.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I was going to do something, and I knew I needed a sprint, and I knew I needed other teams. So it's a great thing to recruit, to offer this to like CFOs, COOs, VPs, even director levels, to get the right trainers, all the right things you need, the right recipe. But it's also great to keep people there and not to leave. So they once they got that. So now that I've paid out a lot, people know I'm serious about it, and it's how I structure. Every company I invest in has an EIP program. Two reasons why. Number one, I think it works way better. And I do think it's lonely when you sell and you're the only one that made all the money and everybody's looking at you. And I've done the math. It was more lucrative for me to have that program than not.
Because of the growth?
Because, yeah, everybody was running in the same direction really hard. Right. And their families all understood, hey, if you got to work 7 weeks, if you got to work every day this month, it's for our family. Yeah. Because there's something in it for us.
Right. And does that extend down to the technicians, or is that just
I did.
leadership?
I got into an argument with my my private equity partners. I wouldn't say an argument, but I told them I'm adamant about getting the technicians and installers involved with this. And they said, fine, only 5%. But we call it our Pinnacle Club. And then we go to Mexico once a year. And they said, we don't mind if you give out these units. Now they're called profit units. We don't mind if you give these out, but you can't be handing them out like crazy. It's the best of the best of the best. Need to get those.
They got to earn it.
Yep. And so it's cool when they do earn it. They're very, usually their significant other comes out with them to Mexico. We have a whole celebration. And they make a lot of money, and now they got owner next to their name. And I think that I haven't lost a technician that I didn't want to lose. Let's put it that way.
Why'd you bring in private equity if you had that EBITDA?
Well, during COVID, the multiples just went so crazy. I was told by my board never to sell. Don't ever sell your business. And then I realized there was more opportunity than my pocketbook would allow for. Even though I was making a lot of money, I had what's called the delayed draw term loan, and that allowed me to buy a couple of businesses, and they make you have a 90-day seasoning period before you could buy other companies. So if I had a deeper wallet, I could go buy companies faster. And it was... I knew what it was like to have money because I've worked hard my whole life. I've owned houses. I own a couple of small apartment complexes, a couple commercial buildings. I think and I say this very humbly, I had $10 million in my account, but it was a different type of money. This is the type of money now you got to form a trust. Right. You got to get with tax advisors. You got to get the right lawyers. Right. You got to really get things figured out. We formed a family office. So I skipped quite a few rungs on the ladder. Yeah. And so I just needed to get with the right people, and thank God I got with the right people at Goldman Sachs, the right lawyers, and that. Right. And it's a cool feeling, but money's not everything. I've realized a lot of people that I know with a lot of money, they're not happy. Yeah. Right. I talk a lot about family, finance, faith, and fitness, and then future self, 5 Fs. For me, finance needed to be out of the way before I could focus on anything else, just because of the way I was raised, and I just didn't want to be married one day and just watch our life fall apart like I watched my parents because of money. So, but business is, once you understand what arbitrage is, that you could buy it for this and sell it for this. It's like it's like I always say if Pablo Escobar understood, he was doing it with just the wrong stuff, just cocaine, right? But you could buy it here and sell it here. It's like, wait a minute, I could buy a business for 5X, buy 5 businesses, roll them up together, make sure they walk, talk, and act the same, integrate them correctly, get them on the right technology, and it can be worth 12X. So I literally did more than double it just by putting, standard operating procedures, the right manuals, the right SOPs, all into place. And everyone wants to buy home service because it's kind of economy proof. Like even during a bad economy, we kill it.
Yeah.
People need to fix their homes.
I imagine there's growing interest in that because a lot of people are, kind of waving off of the traditional liberal arts education, going back into kind of blue collar work.
Yep.
So.
Well, that's AI is.
AI is going to push that as well.
AI is not going to be replacing the guy fixing your furnace anytime soon.
Right.
They're going to replace a lot of things that happen with cameras and creative things, the way you develop code and write code. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they're going to be fixing these manual labor jobs anytime soon. Elon's got these new robots coming out, but I think it's still a couple decades away.
Right.
So I think the trades are great. I mean, I did go to formal school. I was going to be a dentist, of all things. I can't imagine. And then I got a master's degree in business. When I went and interned with the dentist, he said, "How much do you know about business?" And I said, "Not a ton." Why? He says, "Because before you take the DAT, I say go take the GMAT, get a master's degree in business." Because he said, "I'm 47 and I still got a few $100,000 of debt.
Yeah.
And I work for a guy that doesn't know anything about dentistry, but owns a lot of dental offices."
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay, fair enough."
There's the technician and there's the business side of it.
Right. And that's the E-myth.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like coaching or, like peer events, kind of like Tiger 21 or YPO, what has been most impactful for you and why?
I never was, I was part of Young Entrepreneur Council, but didn't have anything formally to meet up. What I've always done is I've realized success leaves clues. So if you want to get to the top of Google, HVAC's a bigger industry. I just search HVAC. I find the biggest HVAC company in every single state. I've went to their shops and spent time with their whole C-suite. Mm-hmm. If you do over 100 million in HVAC plumbing, I've been to your shop. If you want to learn how to get the best product mix, just call the largest supplier and say, "Who has the best product mix? Would you mind making an intro for me?" You fly out and see them. You want to know how to get the highest booking rate in your call center? Ask your CRM. "Hey, who has the highest booking rate in my industry?" Fly out and see them. Buy them lunch, read their book. If you want to know, like the yellow book still works, believe it or not. Just find the guys with the #1 ad in HVAC, plumbing, electrical, roofing, and they'll tell you if it works or not because they have great attribution. If it's a big company, most of the time they kind of got their shit together. But I thought about, there's the Thunderbirds and there's Tiger, and I've been offered to be part of Tiger, and there's YPO and EO. I think when you get around like-minded people, I've always said Elon Musk has the same amount of time as me. Why not me? What does he do better? And if I could read all their books, study what they do, my next phase that I'm going into is literally trusting more, not being as involved. And that's so hard to sit around and wait for things to get done and not be involved. But it's the Richard Bransons of the world that they learn how to hire the right people and live their best life.
Yeah.
So hopefully one of these days I'll be golfing and fishing more. I love golf. I love fish. I don't make enough time for that right now.
What does an average day look like for you?
I mean, I typically got stuff starting at 7 a.m. Typically till 6 p.m. There's just my calendars. If it's not a meeting, it's something.
Right.
But she's pretty good. Ashley's pretty good about, hey, do 50 push-ups. You got your workout later. You got to go do this. She'll tell me when to eat. The chef's got all the organic food for the whole day. But it's busy. And typically we got shit going on Saturdays and even a few things on Sundays. But it's manageable. It's not very hard. I think the hardest thing first thing people should do is a time audit and get an EA. If everybody in business had an EA and they could get back a lot, like I don't do emails. In fact, my cell phone, I'm getting ready. We're going to forward it to an app on the computer, but they'll have access to it, like Ashley and the team. And I'm just going to have a phone number where 100 people have my cell phone, but everything else, like how much can I delegate? Like that's the question is how much can you, it's being able to trust other people as well, which is hard for some people. I don't have my mom asked me, how can you trust people when you've been burned so many times? I'm like, yeah, I've probably been burned 1% of my life. The other 99 have been really good by trusting people.
Talk about the future. What is your view of the future?
I'm cautiously optimistic, but that's just in my nature. I look at things, the cup is always half full. I think it's going to be a great place. I think the United States is the best country on the planet by far. It's so good. And I think where we are geolocated, it makes it tough to get at us, which is great, even though they've got those hypersonic missiles now in China and Russia. I think the war is going to end in Ukraine. I think Israel's going to wipe out Hamas. I think, there's a lot of stuff going on right now in Syria. I think I don't have a big opinion on if we should stay out of it or not. I know when we got involved with Iraq, with Saddam Hussein, it's not like we left it better by getting rid of him. No. So I don't know. I know I give it 2 years and I'll be traveling regularly. I've never been to Europe, but I've been to China, I've been to South America, been to Canada, Mexico. But I want to start traveling a lot more. I'm really looking forward to that. And what's nice is like, I will say working hard, you can afford to like do the best things on trips. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would stay in a freaking small, I don't really care. But if you could do the nice things, like if you're going to go to, like I was going to tell you, we were at the Cardinals game yesterday and I'm like, I want those seats. So we put down a deposit for like the seats on the field. But I'm like, oh, why not? Like just.
Yeah, if you got the money, you might as well spend it. So we got to wrap this up here, but you got a podcast.
Yep.
What's that called?
The Home Service Expert.
And who's that geared toward?
Both business owners in general, but we talk about leadership, recruiting, payroll, performance pay. Anything I struggle with, I tend to get someone to come on the podcast to help me. So if you listen to like the first 50 episodes, it'll help you get to like 30, 40 million. You listen to the later ones, it helps you get past 100 million. We did 250 million this year when we finish up. But I used to be really proud of our revenue. Now I'm proud of our profit, which is 25%. But yeah, the podcast is great. I've had Michael Gerber on there. I recently had Robert Cialdini, wrote the Persuasion and Influence. Lots of good podcasts. I've learned a lot.
And if someone wants to reach out to you, social media or
Yeah, so just, there's no W in my name, Tommy Mello, minus the W, so TommyMello.com. Has all my social media on there. And if you want to do a shop tour, come to Phoenix. We'll show you how we train our guys, how we recruit our guys. We don't charge for that. Nice. It's kind of just a way for me to pay it forward because people let me do this and go to see their shop. So we do it now on the regular. It's TommyMello.com/shop. And we love to have people. Usually we get 40 or 50 companies a month coming out to do that. Right. And, I'll answer questions. We try to make it as professional as possible. And I tell them what they need now. Do you worry about branding? How do you get more leads? What software works the best? So how do you get your vehicles accelerated depreciation? All these things that we've learned over the years, how to get the right gas cars and attribution and hire right and like just make things simpler. We train all that stuff. So we kind of give that to them when they come.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice service.
Yeah.
Awesome, Tommy.
Thank you. I appreciate being on. Yeah, it's great.
It,
great conversation.
Booyah. Wow, that was a cool interview with Tommy Mello. Really great nuts and bolts information on how to scale and grow a business and how to think like a billionaire, frankly. Wow, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. You can find the resources from this show on my website, markdevine.com, and the video on my YouTube channel. You can connect with me on X, Instagram, and Facebook at Mark Devine or Mark Devine Leadership. Feel free to share ideas for topics or guests via my LinkedIn account. Thanks to my incredible team, Catherine Devine and Jet Studios, for bringing this show and my newsletter to you each week. And check out my new performance-focused supplements at sealfitsupplements.com or search for them on Amazon. If you haven't already, please take a moment to rate and review the show because it certainly helps a lot with visibility and credibility. So as I wrap up, remember the power that we all have to create the change that we want to see in the world. Let's strive for a better world, your world, and our co-created reality as trailblazers and warriors of positive change. So stay focused, stay curious, and be uncommon. Hoo-yah, Divine out.